Hey guys, I just want to bring up why people stop believing in love. Now, I feel like a big reason for that is a lot of people grow up around divorce, and that impacts the way that you see love. Because it's like, well, my parents don't even love each other, so I guess love doesn't exist. And if you're wondering why that sounds weird, okay, let me get this straight. How your parents treat each other has such a big effect on how you think men think about women and how you think women think about men. So, a lot of women that grow up hating men, most of the time it's because of an absentee father or a very toxic father that may have said things mean to her or said things bad to the mom. And a lot of men grow up with animosity towards women because maybe their mom cheated on. Okay, it's kind of bad that I brought up a woman cheating before I said a man cheating. But let's say that the mom, I don't know, divorces the man. Or, for a better example, let's just say that the mom would constantly talk crap about the father, saying, "Hey, your father ain't ish, your father ain't that," and just a lot of these things. Even if it is true, just seeing, I guess, seeing a woman that constantly bashes your dad, or just men in general, you're going to start to think that a lot of women think that way. So, however, the environment that you grow around your parents has a big effect on how you see love. And I feel a big issue with love now is that, I mean, maybe this has always been a thing, but you definitely are seeing it more with social media. Is that things are just too hypersexualized and there's too much promiscuity, and there's just too much sexual media that's being spread around that, I don't know, I always felt like being intimate with someone should be between someone that you have strong feelings for and that you love, but some people do it for the thrill and things, and there's a lot of damage in that hookup culture things. Because what I'm thinking is that there's a lot of men out there that believe that no woman can ever truly fall in love or be with a man. And the issue with that is that, or they just call all women whores, all these derogatory terms. However, those same guys that think that way are the same guys that would just sleep around with any girl that they see, or they know that a girl has a man and then they'll, cheat. They'll pursue her knowing she has a man, and then they're the reason why she cheats. Honestly, I do believe that the person that's in a relationship deserves all of the blame for cheating. Yes, the other guy didn't respect the boundary, but if you're the one in a relationship, it's really your fault for going against your partner. That's how I see it. Unless, you know, but because if you are a guy that sleeps around with tons of women and you can just do it casually, it makes it harder for you to find somebody that you love and not assume that that girl was doing the same thing that you. It's not one of those girls that you were, slinging around with. Which is kind of funny how there's a lot of guys that say, "Oh, we could sleep around as much as we want," but women, they can't do that because value and all that stuff. There's probably gonna be people here that also agree with that saying. However, I don't. And the same thing with women. So if you are a woman that sleeps around with tons of men, it makes it harder for you to like fully trust the other person because you probably don't trust yourself. I don't know. There's just a lot of weird things that's going on right now, And now I feel like a big thing that's happening is texting has ruined communication. So if you really look at it, most of the fights that people get into with friendships, with relationships, mainly with relationships, is the lack of communication. And texting is a reason for that. So a lot of couples, they won't talk in person because they're too uncomfortable to talk in person. So they use their phone as a barrier to break that uncomfortableness, and they'll text something that they wouldn't say to their partner's face, which is a dangerous thing because texting, there's no nonverbal communication, and there's too many times to where you can see a text and you can respond to it, but you can edit it, erase it as many times as you can before you finally type it and send it. And the bad thing about that is that usually when you do that, your answer that you wanted to say is not the initial one that you typed because you edited it. But if you talked about it in person, your partner can actually see your facial reactions and how you react. And a lot of people they don't put their pride away and their stubbornness away to sit down and talk. And that's very important. People say communication is key, and that is the truth. But unfortunately, people don't talk, and they just have sex, which obviously doesn't solve anything, which is why there's so many toxic relationships. Because if you're doing that and there's no love behind it, then there's an issue. Oh, my cat is meowing by the door. And a lot of music, and there's, adult videos, all that stuff. A lot of that's actually the sad thing about that is that that's becoming so mainstream now. You see just adult stars everywhere now. Like you can just you just recognize them now, which is bad because back then you had to, I guess, you had to buy things or get magazines and stuff. But with the internet now, it's just so prominent now that you just expect it. You the that one theme that plays on a certain website, before a video starts. So many people know that, and I'm guilty of that too, which I'll admit. And that's not good because so people stop believing in love because of what they grow around and a lack of communication and the hypersexualization of just what's going on in the media right now. It's in your music, it's everywhere, you can't escape it. As long as you're on the internet for any reason, you can go on Twitter, it's there. I remember, thank God I got rid of Twitter, but I remember I was scrolling through Twitter and someone I follow just reposted something, and it was like a video. It was some stuff that I didn't want to be scrolling through in public. And there are just people who say some nasty stuff on Twitter, man. Like why do you feel the need to share that? Same thing with Instagram, man. You can't go. Well, with Instagram, a lot of the times the posts that I see that are like that are just screenshots of tweets. But even Instagram's the same way, man. YouTube is kind of there. There's a lot of weird things on YouTube that you can find on accident, and it's just we need more healthy ways for people to understand how relationships work. So the only way that people really believe in relationships is that they look up to social media relationshipers. That didn't make any sense. They look up to power couples such as celebrities and YouTubers who do like these couple vlogs and stuff, because that's making them think that love exists. And once those people break up, it shatters them. And then they're like, man, I guess love doesn't truly exist. If these people break up, then love doesn't exist. But the issue is that, unfortunately, when you have a following and people are looking up to you as a couple like that, it's putting a lot of pressure on the relationship, because your relationship is no longer like private between you two. It's become a business. So you're actually just, it's a business in a way. Your relationship is a business. That's weird. And people aren't seeing the bad side because you don't want to share the bad side. You want to keep that image. But yeah, the main thing people need to do is just communicate. It sucks. If you're a man, don't be afraid to cry in front of your wife, or don't be afraid to cry in front of your partner, spouse. Women, same thing. There are things that are just going to make you uncomfortable. You're going to have to talk about it because you don't get nowhere if you don't. And if you aren't able to talk to the person and communicate them your feelings without holding things in, then you probably don't need to be in a relationship. That's just how it goes. But unfortunately, a lot of people are in friends with benefits situations disguised as being in a relationship.